Do you guys know how these three explorers used peaceful methods to explore new territory, unlike Christopher Columbus? Okay, now up first we have Zheng from the Ming Dynasty in China. Now this man actually had way bigger ships than Columbus, and he would go on ventures with over 20,000 men across the Indian Ocean. And he focused on creating diplomatic relationships over conquering everyone. So when he visited Malacca, which is present-day Malaysia, he didn't try to take over. Instead, he affirmed that the indigenous rulers there were to be respected, and he recognized their sovereignty. And this recognition protected Malacca from external threats and allowed for their political and cultural system to thrive. And Zheng would exchange gifts with local authorities to show respect and establish diplomatic relations. Now, some do say that because his fleets were so massive, the locals were kind of pressured to accept these gifts. But overall, Zheng methods were about mutual benefits and building alliances over conquest. Okay, now if you've been to Dubai, you've probably heard of Ibn Battuta Mall, but have you heard about Ibn Battuta himself? Ibn Battuta was a Moroccan explorer who traveled across the Middle East, Africa, South Asia, and China, and he did so more as an explorer and not a conqueror. And he would document cultures with a lot of respect. For example, when he visited the Mali Empire in 1352, he was really impressed by how safe and hospitable the Malian people were. He admired that there was virtually no theft and that travelers were able to travel without worrying about getting robbed. He's also said to have one of the more respected ethnographs of West African history, and he challenged a lot of stereotypes about the African people, and he honored their achievements. Now, his journey was led by trade routes and political systems that already existed, so he's definitely more of an explorer than a conqueror, but nonetheless, his influence has been very impactful, and he was still very cool. And finally, we have Alexander von Humboldt, who was a Prussian or a German naturalist, which is another way to say somebody who studies natural history. And he explored South America as a scientist in the late 1700s, relying heavily on indigenous guides for his research, while also criticizing colonial abuses. He challenged the Eurocentric belief that only Europeans were capable of research or scientific discovery. And he learned from the indigenous people from the Orinoco and Amazon regions on how to use poisonous plants for hunting. And he would use their expertise for navigation and often credit them by name, the indigenous people, which was something very rare for European scientists at the time. Now, he fully advocated for the recognition of indigenous expertise in these respective fields, and he often condemned colonization and slavery, calling it the greatest of evils that afflict humanity. So in conclusion, exploration does not have to warrant violence, and you can do really impactful things by respecting the native people of the lands you explore, like these three men I just mentioned. And I do feel like the world can definitely learn from them today, which is why they made it to my series, Lessons for the World. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, all sources in the comments.